Thank you all for coming. And I guess the obvious place to start, because this is where the chattering classes have been chattering over the past little while, is about portfolio. And so I'm going to start with Matt, because you're closest to this situation. What could portfolio have done differently, and how is it not a good example of the new journalism?
Well, it's, I don't know if one of the people who've been wounded is the best person to do the autopsy, but I'll take a shot at being the CSI on it. I think it was a great idea at a bad time. I really think that given the economic climate we're in, the recessionary climate that is so damaging to so many magazines. I look at all the magazines I've worked for, and I've worked for a lot of Time, Newsweek, U.S. News, The New Republic, others, and it is just, it's been calamitous, and it's just a calamitous environment. I think the idea of trying to do a business magazine with the, DNA of Condé Nast, with its, well-known glossy titles like Vanity Fair and Vogue and The New Yorker, was a good idea. And, I think people can argue about the execution of various stories and editorial choices, but I think in this kind of climate, I think it was just very hard to do. So, could they have done things differently? Maybe. But I think overall it was really more a story about the economy than about individual editorial decisions.
Mark, I may have unfairly cast you in the role of the old school reporter.
Well, yeah, I'd like to dispute that.
Okay.
We've been around for 150 years, but I think we've survived that long because we've adapted. One of the adaptations that we've done recently is hiring some of the best people from Portfolio before they went bust, Felix Salmon and Jeffrey Kane, as part of our new opinion and commentary service. And so we just like to adapt and adapt and adapt. And we're seeing a lot of our customers experience a lot of pain. But one of the things we did was merge Thomson and Reuters last year. And that diversified our exposure to a lot of these issues. Wall Street would have been a year ago our biggest client, and with the economy being in the state it's in now, and the print business in the state it's in now, we would have been in a lot of trouble without that merger. But because we diversified our business, we just posted record earnings. We're hiring. I think I've put an extra 50 jobs in the New York newsroom in the last year, and we have open jobs. So we may be old, but we're old by virtue of staying new.
When you say you have open jobs, is that an invitation for people to come talk to you afterwards?
Well, NYU does quite a bad job of submitting internship applications for us, and it would appeal that NYU students with an interest in business journalism approach us, if not for the coming summer, which we filled for the one after that. But the open jobs that we have at the moment are for our new commentary service, where we're looking for more mature journalists, people like Matt, maybe with more of a business.
People like Matt. People like Matt.
Also, interestingly, we're getting into a new platform to deliver television, a sort of a YouTube/CNBC on steroids, smart business news deliverable to our clients over an internet platform where you can host your own channel too. So if you're Goldman Sachs, you can come to the new Reuters TV platform and get your news out to your clients on our platform without us at Reuters even necessarily knowing about it.
Andrew, does that sound crazy to you as someone who was the president of a news division during the sort of waning years of the classic 3-network structure? Does it sound crazy to you that people can just pick and choose the video feed for their day's news?
Well, number one, Rachel, doesn't sound crazy. Number two, even if it sounded crazy to me, it wouldn't matter, because these are powerful evolutionary as well as revolutionary forces. So I think the challenge for, we prefer the word traditional journalists to old school, is to really understand, and I think it's actually a challenge for citizens as well, how this evolution is going to affect citizens' ability to get reliable information. Right now we have a confluence of factors. We have traditional business models eroding, horribly exacerbated by the recession. There are exceptions like Bloomberg, and Matt Winkler would have told you about that, or like what Mark is saying, where other business models sustain very vibrant journalistic organizations. But we also have Matt here representing in my view, terrific magazine, and I didn't work there, I can say that just couldn't survive in this climate. So you have a recession that has exacerbated the trend, but the trend has been going on for decades, and the trend is that what was a comfortable oligopoly based on a scarcity of journalistic resources, and particularly a scarcity of distribution mechanisms. It was very expensive to create content, as the fashionable phrase is, and even more expensive to distribute it. That's given way, as Rachel Stern will tell you in a minute, to an unbelievably democratic, with a small d system, where it's very inexpensive to create content and virtually free to distribute it. And that means that ordinary citizens are not only going to be able to create journalism if they want it, they're going to be able to also create pseudo-journalism and opinion if they want to, but most importantly, consumers of journalism are going to have to choose from a much broader array of choices. And what traditional journalists are going to have to figure out is where their voice ends up and how we continue to perform a public service in an environment where we no longer have the microphone to ourselves.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate here and jump on the phrase pseudo-journalism that you just said and toss it over to Rachel as sort of the guardian of citizen journalists on this panel. Is it journalism? Is Guy on the street, taking some footage, uploading it, and giving what he thinks happened? Does that count as journalism, and should it count as journalism?
Yeah. Well, first I want to thank Andrew for giving the pitch for Ground Report, because that's exactly what we're going for. And just so that everyone has a background, Ground Report is a platform where anyone can post their own news stories, and they earn a share of revenues, and there are 5,000 contributors. But to go back to it, I think that the whole debate about citizen journalism is a good one and an important one, but it can almost be distracting. Because the way that I look at it is the focus on citizen media and the focus on citizen journalism, or on this platform as serving the hyper-local markets and providing information that may not be there in a sort of fourth estate. And when you cast that wide of a net, you are getting a lot of information. Should we still put it through the kind of vetting mechanisms that have been developed by all of my co-panelists? Definitely. Because that's the only way to get real value out of it, and that's one of the reasons that we take a really careful approach. So basically, starting this week, no content on Ground Report will ever go live until it's been vetted by one of our Wikipedia-style editors, and we're trying to find a sort of middle ground between being able to really reduce costs, not have this crazy overhead that's impossible to sustain, but also to bring that added value of how do we vet all of this incredible information that's out there.
How do you vet all that information? What does it mean, Wikipedia-style editors?
So we have a team of about 30 volunteer editors who are usually either professional journalists or journalism students, and we give them a rubric of guidelines. And they are able to edit any of the content on the site. It's all in versions. Like if anyone's edited a Wikipedia article, we can go back and see exactly what happened. And nothing will go live on the site without that happening. And this is something that's actually very unusual in quote-unquote citizen journalism platforms, but I think it should be standard, because how else can you begin to call something news?
All right, then.
Yeah.
Do I have any sort of disagreement from any of the panelists?
I mean, I like citizen journalism insofar as it can move a story forward, and I think we saw yesterday a great example of it when we had the plane, Air Force One, the president's plane, he wasn't on it, in Lower Manhattan. And of course it was a citizen journalist who shot a bit of video. I'm very fond of citizen journalists shooting video, shooting photographs, emailing it into us. It's stuff that we can verify, we can see if it's been photoshopped or altered, we can authenticate it and use it. Your service, I like the sound of. Where I get a little nervous is how does the reader verify the bias that somebody may or may not have. We have an ethics and standards practice that goes back 150 years, and indeed Reuters is governed as a news organization by a trust share, which dictates that all of our news must be free from bias, and if it isn't, it's my job on the line and other senior editors' jobs who are on the line. So when you come to Reuters, you can trust that this is the unfettered truth to the best of our knowledge, and there's no bias. And the one thing, it's great to get more news and to get news from more far-flung datelines, most of which we're at anyway, but how do we know it's true?